Hello everyone, my name is Grace Bechard and today I'll be telling my personal story about a big event that actually happened here in Wethersfield, Connecticut in December of 2019. It's officially been a year and a half since this event happened and it has changed my life for the better, I believe so. I haven't really noticed much because of course I let those kind of scary situations not let get to me. But it happened when I was just coming on vacation by myself for the very first time. Imagine flying by yourself and in a big, huge event happening in the same timeline. So I was flying here to Wethersfield, Connecticut the day after Christmas and never really thought of much of anything happening. I had a normal week planned out. I was gonna hang with some family, do some things, and go to New York. I was supposed to go to New York on the day the event happened. And whole crazy world changes, right? Fortune happens. So on the day of the 28th of December 2019, I went to go get my nails done with my aunts and cousins, and I just could tell that I felt really off and just like a weird feeling like you couldn't tell what was wrong, but you know something was wrong. So we got our nails done. Didn't think much of it. We went to have lunch and then we came back home and rest and hung out until we went to bed. And then I woke up in the morning and I felt better than the day before, but it was a whole cursor of like thinking of what's going on. So I got up, went to the bathroom and took a shower, and then I came back and I could tell something was off. I was in excruciating pain in my left side of my stomach, and normally I deal with some other problems, so I thought it was just something normal, but it was not going away. And so I called my mom. I was texting her even though she was out in Arizona, and I was telling her what was going on, and my mom was trying to communicate with other people that were around me here to help me out because I did not want to talk. As how much pain I was in, and normally I don't like to be dramatic in these kind of situations, but it was a level scale of 1 to 10 and it was at 11. And my aunt was out by the time at her yoga, and she came back after and tried her absolute best to help me lower the pain tolerance, and nothing was really going either both directions that we wanted to. So she ended up taking me to urgent care, and we went back and the doctor told us that it might just be flu. They've seen so many flu-like symptoms, cases coming through the office that they thought it was flu. And as you can imagine, urgent care is not always the best, but it was the best option for the first go around, and we should have just stuck with our guts and went to a hospital. But the doctor at urgent care prescribed me nausea medicine, and after that, I knew nothing was sitting right with me. Her answer wasn't right. The medicine I was being prescribed right was not going to help me. So, but once we left urgent care, we went to drop it off at CVS and then come back and pick it up later. But that never happened because my aunt knew right there and then when we were dropping the prescription off, I had to go to the hospital because I was humped over. That was how much pain I was in. So we went to the hospital. And I was so lucky to have my aunt with me because I had no parents, I had no siblings, I just had close relatives around me, and that was all I can ask for. And as you can imagine, this was actually right before COVID happened. So if COVID happened, I don't think I would have any family around me, and then that would be me freaking out more than I should. So we went to the hospital, we got checked in, and it was starting to kind of get mediocre, where it was good, but then it was also bad. So once we got called back in, they decided to give me an IV port and took some blood and just went and did some tests, and nothing really like ever heard back. But as you can imagine, they had to call my mom to get her permission from my aunt to make some of the close decisions, even though my aunt allowed me to make my own decisions. And I was at 17 at the time. And so my mom, of course, was worrying, and she knew that it was going to be chaotic. But I was actually doing pretty good in emotional department. I was afraid, you can say that, but I wasn't really showing it, and I wasn't really crying. I was holding myself together. And so once I was taken back for an ultrasound, it was so much in pain when he was pressing on it, but they found out what was wrong, and I had an ovarian torsion where I had a huge cyst that was inside of me for a while, and it was on top of my ovary, and it ended up cutting my blood supply off and twisting my ovary, as you can imagine that. And so about an hour later, I went into surgery. Everything went well, and a couple of the helpers, the nurses, the anesthesiologists that was in the room in the OR with me were actually from Arizona. So as you can imagine now, I had some heavenly grandfather watching over me and providing me with a little comfort of home. So it was really nice. Everything went well. Stayed in the hospital overnight, and as you can imagine, I had to recover about a few days, nothing more extreme, but it felt so much better not to be in pain anymore. And it was a whole experience. And why I'm telling you this personal story, as you can imagine, this is not something I would normally tell people who I don't know or I just met until we really get close. But you can imagine what something went through without their parents. I didn't cry. I don't like being dramatic in those kind of situations. So this was really an event that really reflected on my well-being of being able to take care of myself without my mom or my dad by my side. And I really learned a lot on how to be an adult and what things will look like when you are on your own, you're out of college, you have an actual job. So this was a real big experience. And when I was coming back out here, I was afraid it was going to bring up a lot of traumatic stress that I was holding back that I never brought out. And I was glad and surprisingly that it did not really truly happen. So I'm thankful for that, and I really appreciate you guys listening to my personal story on a really big traumatic event, and just learn that things happen, and know that you'll have family, friends by your side, even if it's not the person you want is with you there. Just know that you have yourself and you have others who love you as much as you do yourself. Thank you.